Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to a morning episode of Personal Finance for Us. Back out on the porch again. And this morning, I just wanted to do a little quick video and share with you guys one trick that I used when I wasn't making a whole lot of money out of college in order to help curb my spending. My first job out of college, I was making $12.50 an hour. It took me 8 months to even get a job out of college. I graduated in 2007, and that was at that period of time we now refer to as the Great Recession. It wasn't so great for me. My parents had moved down to North Carolina. They were out in the middle of nowhere, and I finally got a job out in the RTP area, as it was known as Research Triangle Park. It's this area kind of that sits right between Raleigh and Durham, and they have a lot of tech jobs and things like that. I actually finally did manage to get a job in RTP, and that was 50 or 55 miles one way, and I was making $12.50 an hour. And those of you that were around to remember that summer 2008 it must have been, was when gas prices started going crazy. Here in North Carolina, gas got over $4 a gallon. So I was driving my little car that, if you watched one of my last videos on my worst financial decision, I was making a rather hefty car payment at that time because I was upside down, had to get a new car, that whole story. You can check that video out. So I had this, I think it was a $525 car payment, and I'm driving 50 miles one way to work, and gas is $4 a gallon. So that was a very rough time. I think the only reason why I made it was because I was still home with my parents. If not, I would have had to have at least one, if not two roommates. And that's was really before the cost of living in this area of North Carolina started shooting up. It was during this time that I really had to learn how to better manage and track and pay attention to my money. And since I didn't have much, and I had a pretty large financial obligation for the money I was making, I had to make decisions, right? So I mean, I could have been the typical 22-year-old and I just blew whatever little bit of money I had anyway. But really, from day one, I think I also mentioned in one of my other videos, I've never liked the feeling of owing anybody money. I've never liked that feeling of my money was gone before I even made it. You know, just knowing that paycheck you have coming on Friday is already spent is a terrible feeling. I never liked that feeling. So I don't think I was ever in any real danger of being that 22, 23-year-old that ran up $15,000 of credit card debt. So I found that sort of stuff to be painful early. I guess I was never really big into stuff. But when, of course, opportunities arose, I am human, so there was always things I would be tempted by. But I want to share with you guys the one thing. I don't do it as much now. Now I've been a nurse a few years, and my income is pretty decent. I'm certainly not rich, not yet. But now that I'm married and we both make some pretty decent incomes, I don't do this trick so much anymore. But for anyone where things are tight and every purchase matters, this is the one trick I did that would keep me from buying stuff that I really didn't need to buy. And that was, I would equate how many hours I had to work to pay for that item. And let me tell you, it was effective. So for example, right, I was making $12.50 an hour, and let's say there was a $200 pair of shoes, $200 pair of Jordan shoes, whatever you want them to be, right? I would do the math, and I would realize that to buy those $200 shoes, I had to work 16 hours. So that's 2 days to buy one pair of shoes. I'm working 5 days a week. I have to spend 2 of them to buy a pair of $200 shoes. And that's before taxes. So really, more like 2.5 days worth of labor for shoes. This trick, I think, is also really effective if you don't like your job, because I think it drives home the point that you just have to work at a place that you don't like so much more to buy something that you don't really need. So I implore you, if you get paid by the hour, and especially if you get paid by the hour and it is not your dream job and things are already tight, before you press buy or grab that item and walk to the register, ask yourself, how many hours did I have to work to pay for this? And is there something better I could be doing with this money instead? For me, it was, man, I have to work 2.5 days to buy that. And then on top of that, I was paying off debt. So I'm like, that's just less money. That's $200 more that could be going towards this car. And then, hey, I actually get to keep my money. So that was the mindset that I had, that I developed. And so I hope that by sharing that, it makes sense to you guys and might help somebody out there. This has been Personal Finance for Us. We're out.